Hello, in this video we're going to talk about Kahoot, which is a student engagement and response web-based tool. It allows the teacher to create a multiple choice quiz using the web-based Kahoot. The teacher then displays the game, they just log into their game via the web, on the projector in the classroom, and the students use their devices, their phone, their iPads, their laptops, what have you, to answer the questions live. So it's kind of like a race. The question will display and the students race to answer the question. Students can access Kahoot by either going to kahoot.it on any browser or they can download the Kahoot app. Each quiz comes with a code for the students to put in that's displayed on the projector when the teacher projects the Kahoot. After the class answers each question, a leaderboard is displayed. Students are given points by if they answer correctly and how fast they answer. And overall stats of how the class answered are displayed. So kind of like a formative assessment there. Basically, it will show a graph of how many answered A, how many answered B, how many answered C, that kind of thing. On the background, individual student data is being collected. It's, of course, not displayed to the entire class, but individual data is being collected and it's stored in Kahoot so that the teacher can download it in an Excel format and review how each student performs and how they answered each of the questions. Kahoot can also be used to make surveys. You would make it just like you make a quiz. You just don't put in right or wrong answers so that students can use their devices to pull in answers to surveys. There's also a feature called Kahoot Challenges that can be created so that the students can complete the Kahoot quiz on their own time, so asynchronously instead of live in the classroom. During this time, it still tracks the data and a leaderboard is still kept. The teacher is also still able to see the individual data on the back end. To begin, you want to go to kahoot.com and create your own account as the teacher. Upon choosing Sign Up, you want to choose that you are a teacher, and you can choose to log in with Google or set up your account with your email. After logging in, you can search Kahoots that others have created, or you can search by a specific title. You can play the Kahoot if you would like, or you can duplicate it so you can change it for yourself. By clicking on the Kahoot, you can see what questions are going to be included in that particular Kahoot. On the top navigation bar, Discover is where you look at other Kahoots that others have created. Kahoots is where you will be able to see Kahoots that you yourself created. Reports will be where the reports for students after you play a Kahoot are kept. That way you're able to download those in an Excel or Google Sheets format, and you're able to see how each student responded. To begin, let's play a Kahoot just so that you can see what the end result looks like. So I'll go to the Kahoots that I've already created, and I'll choose to preview. This is what will be displayed on the projector when the teacher logs in. And this is what the students will use using their devices as they complete the Kahoot. So you can choose to have it classic, where each student is playing with their own device, or you can have it as a team mode if they're sharing devices. You can also change different game options. There's a couple of things that I do recommend turning on. The main one is display the pin throughout the game. That way, if a student gets disconnected, they can easily reconnect by putting the game pin back in. Some people choose to automatically move through the questions so that once the one question is complete, it shows the leaderboard and it moves on. I personally don't like to do that because I like to have time to discuss the question and go over any inconsistencies or any misconceptions and then move to it when I'm ready. So you choose to play. Again, this is what would be shown on the projector. This is what the students are seeing on their device. So the students would put in this game pin. It'll be different per different Kahoot, for each Kahoot, and this is what they put in as the game pin. They are then asked to type in a nickname, and then the nicknames will begin to display here. When you're ready to start the game, you'll choose Start as the teacher. And then the question will be displayed. Notice that there is music in the background. They'll see the question, and then they'll see the responses, and they click on their device the response that fits. After everyone has responded, you'll be able to see the graph of how everyone responded, and they'll also be able to see what is the correct answer. After going to next, you'll see who is in the lead. This also will change based upon how students answer. When ready, you'll go to the next question. It will display it. The students can read the question, and they can click on the answer based upon what they think. And then it will display the results. Notice here you're not seeing individual results, you're seeing just the overall of the class. Then you'll go to the scoreboard and you'll see next. After the Kahoot is complete, you'll see a leaderboard of who was gold, silver, and bronze. The teacher can then choose to get results, and they can see the individual results immediately, or they can save the results elsewhere. You can view an overview of who participated in the Kahoot. You can choose the final scores tab to see a list of the players and what their total scores were. You can look at the question summary to see by player and to see an overview of how they answered each question. Or you can look at it per question and see the question and then see how each player answered it. If they answered correctly or incorrectly, what score they earned. So you can look at it by question or by student. And again, this information is not displayed to the students themselves. It is something that is available after the Kahoot is complete. Or you can always go into your Kahoot area and then choose the Reports tab and then download this. It is saved for every game that is played in this account. So now that you see what a Kahoot looks like when you play it, let's create one. We'll choose Create in the top right corner. And then keep in mind that you have several types of Kahoots you can create. We'll create a quiz for right now. Just know that surveys are very similar to quizzes. You just don't choose a correct or incorrect answer. It'll display a question, the students answer it, and then you're able to see the poll of how the class answered, but there isn't a right or wrong answer. A jumble is kind of interesting. It will allow the students to drag the answer options in the correct order. So it's one of those things that you could say, what are the appropriate steps for X, Y, and Z? Or what events, please put the events in the correct order, and they're able to move them around. All the quizzes in Kahoot must be multiple choice. You can make them true false if you want, but they cannot be fill in the blank, short answer, matching, anything like that. So let's create our first quiz. To begin, you'll be asked to give it a title, a description, choose what audience should be it is appropriate for, and you can even include an intro video. You can just find it on YouTube and paste it in here. The intro video will play as students are adding themselves using the access code to add themselves into the game. You can also add images by uploading your own images or search within the database. Next, we are asked to add our questions. So we simply choose Add a Question. We'll type in the question. Remember that you are limited to your characters, so be careful and keep the questions short and sweet. And then you put in your answer choices. You can have up to 4 answer choices. You do not have to have all 4. You have to have at least 2. So you can have between 2 to 4 answer choices. This is what a true or false question will look like. You can also choose how long they'll have to answer the question. So the question will run for 10 seconds to allow them to answer the question that long. And then you can also choose how many, if it's going to allow them to award points, yes or no. Most of the time, yes, if you're going to do a leaderboard. You can also, again, upload images or use the image search. Then you'll choose Next. Oh, make sure to check the correct answer. So in this case, it's true. So you just click the true button to be able to give it a key to know if it's right or wrong. Then you can add another question. Again, we add in the question title, choose how long they have to answer it, put in our answer choices, make sure to check the correct answer, add an image if you would like, and then next to include the next question. Notice that you can edit the question, you can duplicate the question, you can change the time limit, or you can delete the question from this page as well. After saving, you can immediately go to preview it if you like. You can play it or you can share it. This will allow you to copy and paste the link for easy saving, or you can share it to a variety of media. Another way to access the Kahoot is simply to log into your teacher account and find it from your Kahoots tab. Let's preview it to see how it worked. We'll go to your Kahoots tab, you'll choose the dots, and then you'll preview it. Just like before, you'll be able to see it from on the projector side on the left side of the screen, and then from a student view, what the students will be doing with their devices on the right side. Again, make sure to choose your options of how you would prefer. Make sure to display the game pin throughout. Input the class code and begin. Notice that the class code stays at the bottom so that students can re-enter if necessary. This is the first question that we included. It was a true-false question. We're able to see the graph. This was the multiple choice question. We see the leaderboard, and then of course we can choose to get the results to download the Excel or Google Sheet, as well as we can always come back here to the Kahoots under reports and download the reports there. So now let's make a survey just to see how that looks. So we'll choose create, and then instead of quiz, we'll make a survey. We create the entry page with the title, the description, who's able to visit it, and then we add our question. Notice that the question creation looks very similar, but there isn't the option to check a correct answer because it's a survey. There isn't a correct answer. After completing, you can choose Save. And then again, you can preview it now, play it now, or share it to be able to get directly to it, or you can share it to any of these social medias. So let's preview it. It'll work the same. You'll display this on the projector. You can choose classic or shared. The students will still be given a game pin, and they'll still be asked to put in their name. And this can be a fake name. It can be an alias, just as long as you'll know who they are. Then you start it, and it'll ask them the question just like before. It just gives you the graph to just let you know, which is a great way to get some information from students without having to make everyone individually complete a survey, especially something that is paper-based. So again, there isn't a right or wrong answer, but in terms of just completing the Kahoot, you do it just the same. Ghost mode, which you'll see down here, can be particularly fun when creating or using quizzes for Kahoot. So say that you complete a Kahoot quiz and the student answered each of the questions. Kahoot's tracking how long it took for them to answer each question, how they answered it. So if you choose ghost mode, it actually relaunches the quiz, but it creates a ghost for each student. The ghost plays along with the student, and basically they're trying to beat their own score. So they're playing in ghost mode in that they're trying to improve their score based upon what they already did. So they're able to see what they did before, and then what they are doing now. Now let's check out the jumble. You create the title page as normal, and then we'll add a jumble question. You include the question, the time limit, and then you put in the answer choices that will be that the students will be asked to put in order. Make sure to put them in the correct order. So this is the key itself. Now we will save the answer choices, and let's preview it just to see how it will look. Same thing, display on the projector. The students will use their devices. They'll be asked to put in the game code. Then they'll be asked to put in their name. The students will see the question, and then they'll have to put them in order. So A is first, so we'll put green first, and then B, and then C, and then D. The students need to make sure to press this button to submit their answers. Let's try it one more time. Again, on their device, they're going to move them in the correct order. So we have green for A, yellow for B, red for C, and blue for D, and then we submit. Again, you can get the results, and then you can see the leaderboard. Lastly, let's talk about Kahoot Challenge. So all of the different Kahoots that we've just reviewed are played live. The teacher logs in, shows the Kahoot on the podium or on the whiteboard or their interactive whiteboard, and the students use their devices to answer live. You see the poll live. What happens if we want to be able to have the students answer the questions asynchronously for homework or things like that? Then you can complete a challenge. So you go ahead and make your quiz as normal, but instead of playing it, you choose challenge. Then you choose when the end date should be for the challenge. So we'll just say Thursday, January 10th. This means that the students can play this challenge up to that time and their responses will be recorded. You can share this on Google Classroom, you can share it on Reminds, or you can simply just give them the link to it and make sure to give them the game pin because again, they're going to need the link to get into the Kahoot and they're going to need the pin to join it. It is important to know that in order to participate in the Kahoot challenge, the student will need to download the Kahoot app on their device. They can't run it through a browser like they would a regular live Kahoot. If you go to your reports area in your Kahoot account, you can see that the challenge is in progress, but you can download the data to see how the players who've already taken it have scored. We see here that one player has completed the challenge. And we see the Excel file looks very similar, but you're able to see who has completed it and what their scores are, even while the challenge is still occurring. As the students complete the challenge, they're able to see the correct answer after they submit it when doing the Kahoot. They're also able to see the leaderboard, and the leaderboard is based upon all the others who have taken the challenge. So this first person was obviously the leader in all of the challenges because this is the first person that took it. But as more people take it, you'll be able to see the leaderboard adjust. And that's a summary of all the main Kahoot features.